today we just talk or we just discuss about how to prove the language is not a regular language. Okay, so the question is, how do I prove it is regular language is the main question. But before proving whether it is a regular language or not, I should understand what is regular language. I say language which is accepted by a finite automata is called as regular language. It's for type 3 grammar, definitely. So type 3 grammar, whatever the language generated by type 3 grammar is said to be regular language. Agreed. Now the question is it possible to check the language is regular? That is not a possible. Whatever DFS, NFS we have drawn till now are all accepting regular language. So we used to give some language, say strings of A's and B's starting with AB, strings of A's and B's starting with AB, strings of A's and B's with even number, odd number. We have listed so many things. We were able to develop or write a DFA for all those problems. Agreed. Now we need to just check, is it possible to write DFA for other types of languages as well? Mean to say, whatever we have listed out is one set of languages. We just try to turn back saying, if I list some other language, if I say the language is something, okay, I just listed out that. Is it possible to write a DFA for it first? Second, if you are unable to write DFA, then you can claim it is not a regular language. I repeat, a language is said to be regular, or a regular language is a language which is accepted by a finite automata. A language is said to be regular when it is accepted by a finite automata. That means when you are able to write a DFA for the particular language, then we can say the language is regular. No doubt. It doesn't mean you should write a DFA for all the regular language given for you, or it doesn't mean to check whether the language is regular, you have to write DFA for that. That becomes very tedious job. Mean to say, you have a language, a random language is given. It might be a contextual language or regular language or context sensitive language, whatever. You have a language in front of you. Say, I will inform you, please check whether the language is regular. Just now I only told that the language accepted by finite automata is a regular language. So now I am giving you a condition to check that whether the language is regular. If I say you to check whether the language is regular, you have to use some other technique. You cannot say, wait sir, let me draw a diagram. If I am able to draw a diagram, then I can say it is a regular language. If I am unable to draw, then I can say it is not a regular language. That can be done, not really you cannot. But it becomes again a very tedious and lengthy process which would simply consume your time. And you know how difficult to draw DFA, we have already drawn it. So to avoid that circumstances, what do? We just take care of a concept called as a theorem. We just talk about theorem as a concept and try to understand what the theorem says. Accordingly, we just try to prove whether the language is said to be regular or not. Okay, that means whenever you have to check whether the given language is regular, we try to use this technique where we call it as pumping lemma. That is what is given here, pumping lemma. So there is a pumping lemma for regular language. Also, there is a pumping lemma for context-free language, which we discuss in number 4. Now the question would be there, how do you say, what do you mean by pumping lemma? So lemma and theorem, pumping means repetition. So the theorem which repeats, or pumping means repetition. So this is a theorem which talks about repetition or which talks about repeating pattern. So for that purpose, we call it as a pumping lemma. Nothing else other than that. That means I need to just understand how to check the language is not a regular. But remember, you cannot check or you cannot prove the language is regular. But you can prove language is not regular. I repeat, you cannot prove that the given language is regular. Instead, you can prove the language is not regular. So the question, whenever asked in the examination, is this regular language? Obviously, it will be no. Because You cannot prove it is yes. Whatever problems we give will be always no only. So the sometimes we also say when we have a regular when we have this pumping lemma with this we always check whether the language is regular or not. The question will be like that: is the language regular or not? It will be always not. Anyhow, now let me see why should I do this. Say there are two options for this. One, I have an automata, say Q naught, with the state in the state Q naught with the input symbol A, we are reaching Q1. We are reaching Q1. So there is a self loop for B in Q1. Again, there is self loop for B in Q1. For A, we are reaching back to Q naught. Now, can anybody say what are the strings accepted? What are the strings? I'm taking some random DF. I don't know what it takes, what it does. A, definitely. Let me go much more in detail. Let's start from Q naught. Initial state is Q naught. Last class also I have told whenever we talk about initial state, we need to take care of epsilon as well. Now, with respect to Q naught, if you encounter symbol A, we reach Q1. Listen to my statements properly. From the statement Q naught, from the state Q naught, with the input symbol A, automata is in Q1. Agreed? Now, when you are in Q1, can you explicitly say that you have accepted only A to reach Q1 or you have accepted B followed by A to reach Q1? I repeat, from the state Q naught with the input symbol A, we have reached Q1. Now, can we explicitly say or can we exactly say that yes sir, we have reached Q1 only accepting A, or we have reached Q1 by accepting B, then A? Can we say that? I say no. Please observe properly. In the state Q naught, when you accept A, you reach Q1. Only thing you have reached Q1. But how can you say that you accepted B there? There is no such criteria to verify that, right? We are unable to verify that. One thing. Second thing, when you reach Q1, again you cannot say that you have accepted B and staying in Q1 or not yet accepted B. That means with respect to finite automata, you don't have a provision to say what is the history. You don't have a provision to store the symbols what you have scanned. You don't have a provision to say what are the symbols accepted already at that moment. You cannot, because you don't have that option to store anywhere. Or you don't have any option to keep track of all those things. So these are the two drawbacks we have. And this is an advantage for next set of automatas. So I repeat, listen properly. In a finite automata, you cannot store any symbol. So we say finite automata doesn't have memory device to store anything, because of which you cannot say what are the strings literally accepted. A state, whenever you go to any state, you cannot say after accepting what symbols we have reached that particular state. No, you cannot say. We only say we have reached. Agreed, you say AB is accepted. I'm not telling about that part. We just reach final state, but I'm telling you cannot keep track of how many B's accepted, how many A's are accepted, if it is a self loop, or if it is a repetition, or if there is a transition. You cannot. Now, so that is a concept or that is a problem what we have in finite automata. Fine, that's one thing. Second thing, when you talk about the type of languages, hope you remember, we had told type 3. And we also understood what all we discussed till now is with respect to type 3 itself. Now, it's our duty to move on further to understand what is type 2. I should know what is the drawback of type 2 so that I can go to type 2. So pumping lemma is doing that. So pumping lemma will take care of to check whether the grammar is regular or not. Or I can say, pumping lemma proves the language is not regular language. Is that clear? Moving on, now if we talk about the same thing, now I need to worry about how do you do that? For that, remember only one information that I have told you. You cannot remember anything in finite automata. You don't have memory to store. You may repeat the symbol, you may not repeat the symbol, you can move on. I just repeat it again. In the state Q naught, you're in the state Q naught. How do you say that we have accepted B there? You cannot. You would have accepted B or you have not accepted B, but it will be still in Q naught. Even if you move to Q1, you cannot say that you have accepted BA or just A or you have accepted AB. You cannot able to say what are the strings exactly accepted that particular state to reach. So, with the help of pumping lemma, we say that the language is not regular, so that you take care, the type 2 should take care. What is type 2 grammar? Type 2 grammar is said to be context-free grammar. We are just moving forward to understand what is that now. So, context-free grammar or a context-free language that should be specified to accept it. That should be specified to write to know how do I deal with it. How do I write next automata where the language able to accept it by finite automata. How do I write or how do I solve those problems? So for that purpose, we need to understand the concept called as pumping lemma for regular language. So this comes under proving languages not to be regular. Anyhow, now let's go for theorem part of it. You just read this first statement, this statement, you read this. This is the statement. It says, let L be the regular language accepted by a finite automata M. Yes. So there is an automata M which is already having a language accepted. That we indicate by L. Among which we take a string X. So please understand, in any language, it might be starting with AB or ending with AB, ending with AB or BA, number of A's mod 5 is equal to 0, number of B's mod 5 is equal to 2, whatever. Whatever we have taken the language, that's the same thing we are considering it here. One of the language we are considering, and we say there exists a finite automata which accepts this. Later on, let X belongs to L. In that language, we take any string. We just take one simple string where we say let X belongs to L be the string which is accepted by a finite automata. Understand properly. You have a language, you have an automata. Now what you are doing, you are taking one string from it that is said to be a string which is belonging to L. But remember, while taking the string, there is one condition given here. It says let X belongs to L be the string which is accepted by finite automata and number of symbols in X. This indicates number of symbols. Hope you know this. Whenever you write 2 pipe symbols for any character, that becomes length of that particular symbol. So number of symbols in X should be always greater than equal to N. That means you should have N or more symbols. If that is a condition, that is an assumption now. If you say this is true, I move on. If the string can be divided into 3 divisions, whatever string I have X, I divide the string into 3 divisions, U, V, and W. You break the string into 3 parts. While breaking, you should follow some condition. Condition is number of symbols in UV should be less than equal to N, and number of symbols in V should be greater than or equal to 1. This is the condition what they said. Okay, I have a string which is where number of symbols in string is greater than N, no issues. If that is the case, then break the string. Since you say the string is so and so, you break the string. While breaking the string or while dividing a string, the condition is you need to divide the string in such a way that number of symbols in UV should be always less than or equal to N. So the left part of the string. V indicates middle part of the string. It is 1 or more. And W is the right part. We don't have any such condition for W. If you divide like that, then you have to verify for something. What to verify? Then check whether X belongs to UV power IW. Observe the statement properly. It is V power I. That means you had told while dividing number of symbols in V is only 1. Now we are repeating it. Now we are repeating it. That means we are adding more V's. So even if we add more V's, that should belong to L. Nothing to confuse. Very simple. You have a string X. You divide into three parts, UVW. Number of symbols in UV is less than equal to N. Number of symbols in V is greater than equal to 1. Now this V, you keep repeating. So you just say X is equal to UV power I W. That is the case. The string what we obtain after increasing the value of V should belong to L. If it is belonging to L, then we say the language is regular. If it is not belonging to L, then we say language is not a regular language. Very simple. I move on. Now let me understand how do I prove this statement. Recall one statement I have told you. If you have one symbol, you need two states. If you have two symbols, you need three states. Three symbols, four states. It goes on. Hope you remember the statement. Depending on the statement, we can easily say if there are n symbols, there is a requirement of n plus 1 states to accept the string. Let's repeat. If you have n symbols to accept, we need n plus 1 states. Now, keeping this concept, we try to prove it. First thing. Second thing, there is a principle called as pigeonhole principle. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. Pigeonhole principle says if there are n pigeons, and if there is only n minus 1 pigeonholes, n pigeons and you have n minus 1 pigeonholes, then if you want to allocate pigeon to pigeonholes, then obviously you'll have at the end one pigeon left with not having a pigeonhole. Then what has to be done? You need to allocate a pigeon in the same in one of the hole where there is already a pigeon. That means one of the hole will have more than one pigeon. So keeping that concept, we just try to prove this statement. This is the diagram now. That's what I said. In the state Q0, if you accept A0, you reach Q1. In the state Q1, if you accept A1, you reach A2. It goes on. So you have, if you're accepting AN with AM. So it is more now. Is it possible to accept two symbols in two states or one symbol in one state, three symbols in three states? If yes, how? Is it possible to accept one symbol in one state, two symbols in two states, three symbols in three states, and so on? That means n symbol in n states. In this automata, how many symbols are accepting? Only one. How many states are there? There are two states. So now, is it possible to accept one more symbol with the same states? Self loop, that's what I was expecting from that time. Yes, you do self loop. That's what we did it here. See, we have put self loop here. What happened now? Am I not accepting two symbols? I'm not accepting three symbols, four symbols, five symbols, any number of symbols? Yes. So this is what I need to focus on now. That means whenever you have m symbols, if you want to accept n symbols into the same number of symbols, then one of the state should accept more than one symbol. That's what explained here. See here. One of the state is accepting more than one symbol. Can you able to see this part? This is what is told in this law. We have divided the strings into three parts. See, this is one part which talks about U. This is other part, repetition part, which talks about V, and right side is completely for. Observe, am I not doing this repetition here? Now observe this. You only told in the state Q0, if you accept U, you can reach Qi. Once you accept V, you will be in the same state Qi. Once you accept W, Qn. So this is your final state. But I add one more thing there. Observe properly. In the state Q0, if you accept U, any symbol, you are reaching the state Qi. But once you are in Qi, if you accept V, the same states becomes Qj. Fine. Just check the statement here. Check the statement here in this statement. I say from the state Q naught, if you accept the symbol A naught to AN as per revisions, I just divided the string now. A naught to AI plus 1 to AJ plus 1 to AN. I divided it into three parts. A naught to AI is one part, AI to AJ is one part, AJ plus 1 to AN is another part. Now with this automata, whatever what we have designed, we need to accept this. We need to accept this string A naught to AN. So now in the state Q naught, if you accept A naught, you go to Q1 as per this diagram. Similarly, if you accept A1 in Q1, you reach Q2. It goes on until what? If you accept AI. When you accept AI, you reach QI. So once you reach QI, you can accept AI plus 1, AI plus 2, AI plus 3, whatever symbols you have. You come back to the same state because there's a loop, there is a self loop. So that becomes QJ. That means the state acting as QI before accepting loop acts as QJ after accepting loop because automata cannot remember what it is accepted already. That we are taken as an advantage and we are just replacing it, we are just renaming it. State QI before accepting loop, that becomes QJ after accepting. So now, how do I split? Just check out the next statement. Next statement talks about that in the state Q naught with the input symbol A naught to AI. Where do we reach? If you accept A naught to A naught to AI, we are reaching QI, this state. So we are reaching QI. See here, we are reaching QI. From the state QI, remaining string is AI plus 1 to AJ, AJ plus 1 to AM, AN. So now, is it possible to accept QI with the symbols AI plus 1 to AJ? Definitely you can accept it and come back to the same thing. Definitely. So it is QI with AI plus 1, AI plus 2, AI plus 2 up to AJ. We reach the state, the same state, but with the accepting it. So we call this as QJ. Now, once you reach QJ, you again accept AJ plus 1, AJ plus 2, AJ plus 3 up till AN. Where are we reaching? We are reaching QN. Is QN final state? Yes. So automata is accepted now. So we can say, even though when we are accepting more number of symbols within the given limit, we can still accept. Recall, we were giving self loop for so many automatas. We can obviously say, when you say starting with AB, we made self loop for A and B in Q2. When you made writing for ending with AB, you made Q naught with B, Q naught with B as a self loop. Why? That is a beauty of finite automata to accept more number of symbols in the limited number of states. So this is the concept of pumping lemma now. So pumping lemma, what it says, I just brief it out. It just consider a string X, which is said to be a regular language string. Divide the string into three parts. Remember, it's not three equal parts. It's just three parts. So that number of symbols in UV, you divide the string X is equal to UV is less than equal to n number of symbols in V is greater than equal to 1. If that is the case, then you say X is equal to UV power IW should be accepted by the finite automata. Yes, you can do it. This is how we have proven it.